If we learned one thing in 2018, it's that Nintendo's lawyers don't play around. They're definitely looking over the video game landscape. They're definitely looking at emulator websites, ROM websites, and they are taking people down left and right. We of course saw the LoveROM situation earlier this year, which we'll talk about briefly in this video. But of course there was a big fallout for the LoveROMs website, the couple involved in LoveROMs, and then of course the emulation community and ROM websites as a whole. But now we're seeing another situation which is a little bit different. This is actually Nintendo going after a console modder who is selling different consoles on various platforms and making money off of it. Well, Nintendo is now suing this individual and going to court with this situation. So what is Nintendo suing over? Who is this individual? And what exactly happened with this? Sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about how the Nintendo lawyers are at it again.
Hey, RGT85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards! So like I said, earlier this year, we of course saw the LoveROMs.com situation. Nintendo filed a lawsuit against a website called LoveROMs.com for using their imaging on their website and of course for having Nintendo ROMs available on their website. Now these ROMs weren't purchasable or anything like that. You would simply download the ROMs for free, but the real issue came into the fact that they were making money off of ad revenue on the website. So Nintendo actually sued this couple. They were based out of Arizona, a husband and wife couple, for like over $100 million or something crazy like that. The case went to court and then I believe they settled out of court, but the justification and the end game of this was that the couple was forced to pay Nintendo $12 million for lawsuits and damages and of course probably for legal fees as well. And that's pretty crazy because more than likely LoveROMs.com didn't generate anywhere near $12 million in the whole life of it being on the internet. So it's going to be a very rocky couple of years for that couple in Arizona. But of course there was a bigger fallout over the situation with a lot of popular ROM websites. You go to places that you maybe used to go to all the time, places like Emu Paradise to get your ROMs and emulators and stuff, and now you're not able to go there anymore. The ROM landscape definitely shrunk on the internet. Of course there's torrent sites and, you know, blacklisted websites and things like that where you can get ROMs and emulators pretty freely, but as far as the average person goes, someone who's not familiar with torrents and things like that, they have a much harder time finding ROMs and emulators and ISOs and all of these sort of things because of the fallout of that situation. A lot of these companies didn't want to have any sort of ramifications from Nintendo. Well, now Nintendo is getting into a different sphere. They're actually getting into the console modding sphere, and there is a new lawsuit that has just happened a few days ago against an individual named Michael Uskalundanak. I think I'm saying that right, but if we're saying it wrong, I apologize, Michael, but you obviously have bigger problems going on right now than me simply saying your name incorrectly. So a copy of the 29-page document of Nintendo versus Michael has been put online by a website called HollywoodReporter.com. I'll have a link to their website in the description box down below. But looking over this, you can definitely see some red flags and see what this whole situation is stemming from. So looking over this, you can see that Nintendo of America sells the NES Classic Edition console in the United States. States is spelled wrong, they might want to fix that. The NES Classic Edition was designed to look like a smaller version of the original NES console. The NES Classic Edition comes preloaded with 30 Nintendo console games. Copyright law prohibits both the copying of Nintendo console games and the modification of the Nintendo Switch and NES Classic Edition consoles to play unauthorized copies of Nintendo console games. Trademark law prohibits inter alia the use of Nintendo trademarks in connection with the sale of Nintendo Switch and NES Classic consoles that have been modified to allow users to play illegally copied games. Individuals have developed the means to modify Nintendo consoles illegally to circumvent hardware and software limitations that restrict Nintendo video game consoles to only play authorized games. These illegal modifications allow users to play unauthorized copies of Nintendo console games on these consoles, which are infringing free copies of Nintendo console games the user has not purchased. Upon information and belief, Michael, because we're not going to try to say his name again, maintains a profile on the website OfferUp, which is an online platform that allows users to buy and sell goods and services. Through OfferUp, defendants have sold and continue to sell modification services for the Nintendo Switch game console that allows the user to play any Nintendo Switch games they want. Upon information and belief, defendants install a software modification on the Nintendo Switch that allows consumers to play games I guess copied. Can you get some spelling right in this thing? Copied from unauthorized sources and loaded on a memory card, which circumvents the Nintendo Switch's copyright protections. Defendants provide customers with free, i.e. illegal, copied games with every purchase of illegal modifications for the Nintendo Switch consoles. In addition, defendants offer Nintendo's Entertainment System Classic Edition video game systems for sale via the OfferUp websites. However, instead of the 30 authorized Nintendo console games that come preloaded on the game system, defendants have modified the game system so that they are preloaded with unauthorized copies of over 800 different games. Defendants do not have a license to distribute any of these additional games. Defendants sell these modified NES Classic Edition game consoles for $15 above retail price. And then you can see there's party information involved, jurisdiction, all this stuff. Just skimming through it, you know, it's pretty much just information on what the Nintendo Switch is, why they're suing these individuals, and of course the NES Online console. But basically, the gist of this is simply this. These people are selling modified NES classic systems that have 800 games on them, which you see everywhere. You know, you see these cheap Chinese knockoffs, but I guess they're using Nintendo branding to promote their systems on OfferUp, and they're doing this in the United States. A lot of this stems from the fact that they're doing this in the United States because the United States trademark and copyright laws are much stricter than in other countries. You know, a place like China, that's why AliExpress and things like that exist, and people can buy things from China because there's much different copyright and trademark laws than here in the United States. The big thing though has to be these modded Nintendo Switch consoles, because Nintendo's not going to want you to do that. Obviously they do a lot of software updates for the Nintendo Switch that increase stability and stuff like that, but more than likely they're trying to block out hackers from being able to access different things that allow you to modify your Nintendo Switch. If you've got a modded Nintendo Switch, you're probably not buying that many games for the system because you could just simply download and pirate them. And of course, selling this on OfferUp is just, man, that's pretty stupid, because you gotta look at what Nintendo has been doing so far this year. If they're gonna go after a husband and wife couple based in the United States that had a emulation website with a bunch of old ROMs on there, and they're gonna sue them, you gotta feel like Nintendo is gonna be coming after you too. Now, obviously, there are so many different people doing this. It's interesting that they just single out individuals, but really, it's more so about sending a message to console and hardware modders and things like that, that hey, you shouldn't be doing this, because if you do, there's a chance that we're going to come after you. Now, as of right now, there's no monetary value that's been attached to this. It just says that the company is asking the court to order an injunction barring defendants from continuing to make, sell, or otherwise distribute technology that circumvents its controls. According to attorney Kenneth Parker, defendants provide users of the modification with the tools to infringe and instructions on how to use the modification in a manner least likely to be caught or arouse suspicion. So obviously these people know what they're doing. They know that what they're doing is probably not right in the eyes of the law, and of course in the eyes of Nintendo. But it's just crazy to see this, because you got to figure how many different, you know, Chinese knockoff systems there are. And Nintendo kind of has their hands tied when it comes to things like that, because they can't really go after those people, because like I said earlier, there's a lot of different trademark and copyright infringement laws in China. But it's definitely a very interesting situation, and it's a situation that I really want to keep my eye on, because this is the second time in 2018 that we've seen Nintendo go after people who are illegally using Nintendo software. Now, of course, there is the whole sort of situation where, well, you know, a Super Nintendo game, you can't buy that on your Nintendo Switch, and of course, you know, could they do this, or should they do this situation? I'm not here to preach to you guys about emulation and ROMs and ISOs and stuff like that. That's not really my cup of tea. I obviously do emulation on some things. I obviously use ISOs and ROMs on some things. Most of the games I actually own, but there are some instances where I don't own them. But the thing of it is they're doing this for profit. They're making money off of this, and they're probably making a lot of money off of this. According to the court documents, they've modified over 100 Nintendo Switch systems already, which doesn't seem like that much when you compare how many Nintendo Switch systems have sold, but obviously that's putting revenue in their pocket. And of course the NES Classic situation, they're selling them for a $15 markup. They're putting 800 games on there. It doesn't say how many they've sold, how many systems they sold from that, but you got to imagine it's more than that as well. And of course the fact that these services were offered on OfferUp, you know, they've probably been doing it off of OfferUp, maybe on other places and platforms that just haven't been discovered or have been deleted. So I don't know, man. When it comes to Nintendo stuff, you want to tread lightly in 2019 and beyond, because you never know if Nintendo's going to be knocking on your door with a cease and desist, with a lawsuit, and taking your ass to court. So let me know in the comments section down below how you feel about this situation, because obviously when it comes to things like emulation and ROMs and of course game preservation, there's definitely very different viewpoints when it comes to this. Me personally, I understand Nintendo's position on this. If people are making money off of this stuff, it definitely looks pretty grimy. Should they go after every individual in the world? Can they go after every individual in the world? I mean, of course not. There was not enough time and resources, but I feel like it's more of Nintendo just trying to make a statement, to just show you guys, hey, you shouldn't do stuff like this because there are legal ramifications if we catch you and decide to go after you, and your ass might be going to jail or might be getting a lawsuit on your hands, and you probably don't want that. But like I said, let me know what you think of this whole situation in the comments section down below, and as always, thank you for checking out this video. Like I said, I'll have a link to the full court document in the description box down below if you want to go over all 29 pages of it. I pretty much went over the important stuff, but there is some additional information on there as well. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, and as always, I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.